I've been a real estate investor since 2006, and I've been an entrepreneur since high school. That's over 3 decades of entrepreneurship. Today's session is about cold calling and lead generation. My favorite way to generate free leads. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Now, there's two ways to do cold calling in my camp. The first way is where you're actually calling the seller or calling your potential. The other way is where the potential is calling you. Okay. Now, I categorize both of these as cold calling, but I favor the potential calling me versus me calling the potential. Now, the reason is that for negotiation, it gives me a lot more power. Let me give you an example. I'm sitting at the office. A seller calls me because they saw one of my marketing piece, okay? And I ask them a question like, hey, you have a beautiful home. Why do you want to sell? What's your situation? If the seller says something like, hey, I lost my job, the house is behind in payments 3 months, ding, 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 that is a motivated seller. If the seller says something like, well, I'm just testing the waters, or they say, hey, I'm just seeing what I could get for my house, or if they say something like, I'm trying to get top dollars for it, that makes me realize that they're not motivated. Now, since they've called me versus me calling them, right, I can say, look, Mr. Seller, I'm the pawn shop of real estate, and I can't pay top dollars unless we're willing for me to step into your shoes and, make the payments month after month and to cash out the loan. Simply put, buy it with seller financing, okay? If he says no, then I'll give him an offer, put him in my follow-up system, okay? But the sellers, they're saying yes, right? They're motivated. Well, that's an easy deal, okay? Now, why did I explain all that? Because whenever you're cold calling, okay, remember there's two categories. You're calling them, or your virtual assistant is calling them, okay, or a robo call, or whatever the story may be, okay, versus them calling you, okay? In real estate, when I buy houses, I want the seller to call me. Now, there's two ways that I could get them to call me, okay? And this is what's called marketing, but there's two ways to do it, okay? You have the free and you have the pay. The free is what I specialize in because it's guerrilla marketing. As a refugee to America, that's what I had to learn how to use creativity, imagination to get in front of my customers, okay? So there's two ways to do it. So when I say have this potential call you, have the customer call you because it puts you in a higher positioning, it doesn't mean you have to ditch over money. You can, but you can do a hybrid where you're doing free and some money, okay? Now, the reason I explain that is because in cold calling, it's very, very important to have a little bit higher leverage, because even though some people will make that a warm lead because the potential is calling you, it's still a cold call because you don't know what mindset they are. And are they highly motivated? Or are they just testing the waters? Are they just competitors, etc.? Okay. Now, personally, what I like to do is I like to look at cold calling as like digging for gold, right? And you have to move through a lot of dirt to find this gold. What does that mean? For example, if I want to buy houses, and let's say, in this zip code, right? So in this zip code, there's like 1 million people, let's say, right? Well, I have to move a whole lot of dirt, go through a whole lot of people. A lot of people are not going to even want to be selling their home. They're not even looking to sell anytime soon. Some people will be looking to sell the home. Out of those people, we can dive in further. There are going to be people that want top dollars, and there's going to be people that want somewhere in the middle, and there's going to be people that are highly motivated that allow you to do seller financing or sell their home at a deep, deep discount, okay? Just like the pawn shop, ladies and gentlemen, I consider myself the pawn shop of real estate. We'll buy it fast, or we'll buy it with creativity, but we'll solve your problem. But it has to be a win-win for us too. If you want to sell top dollars, then you have to go list with the real estate agent, wait months, wait to pass inspection, funding. Story goes on, and y'all, more and more. Okay, but if you want to get it done right now, then this is what we do. So this is important because the mindset is very important, because whenever they're calling you, you have a higher leverage, even what I call it cold calling, to close the deal or portray yourself as, look, dude, you're calling me, in a sense, but you're not trying to be rude, because if you know anything about negotiation, you don't want to create separation. For example, what do I mean by that? If the seller says, look, the sky is green, okay, there's two ways to handle it, right? You can separate yourself and say, no, sir, you're wrong. The sky is not green, it's blue. Right now you've created separation. Or you can just agree with the guy, okay, or say, sure, and doesn't mean that they're correct, but you're not going to take your time to correct them or disagree with them, because that's not going to get you the deal. So you have to be able to play chess versus checkers, right? And a lot of people, in negotiation, they mess up. So why am I telling you this? Is because, in cold calling, you're negotiating, but it's a lot faster pace. They're sizing you up to see if they like you. The first few seconds, they're seeing if you're a spammer, like, are you just soliciting to them, or you're a bona fide caller that has some important message for them, right? So they're in the first 19 seconds, I've done videos about cold calling many times, okay? So you have to understand the mindset, okay? So the way I like to do it is that, because we have to move so much dirt to find, depends what business you're in, right? For example, if I'm looking to buy a house at a deep discount or with seller financing, then I don't want to target people that are not looking to sell their home, okay? Well, it doesn't make any sense to market to them, just costs money, and they go, I'm not even looking to sell, maybe like in 10 years, my kids grow up, so I don't want that. So I just want to target people that are trying to sell their home. But at the same time, I don't want to target everyone that's trying to sell their home either, because, majority of them are not motivated, right? So the way to dig and then filter, okay, so you can find the gold nuggets, is by using virtual assistants, okay? The way I do it is that, for example, if I want to buy a house, I'll go to a pool of motivated sellers. For example, the divorces, okay? I'll get my VAs to pull up the divorces and then get on skip tracing and build a profile of, their addresses, their emails, their social media, their cell phones, their cousin's phone addresses, all that stuff is up there, right? Then another pool I would work on would be the pre-foreclosures, right? Or people going to foreclosures. It depends on what state you're in. But in my state, we can get the pre-foreclosures, right? And then so on, okay? And then I would have my VAs go to those county clerk's office and pull that data up, and then run into a skip tracing. That's skip number 2, right? Run into a skip tracing, so I have all that information: their social media, their emails, their cell phones, their previous addresses, their cousins, their mothers, all that good stuff, right? And then build that profile. And then step 3, now that I've found that the most motivated people, okay, that they're looking to sell their home, right? Then I start messaging them through guerrilla marketing, for example, through email blast or text message blast or cold call blast, okay? And, I'll do all of it, not just one, okay? All of it, because I'm trying to get this gold, right? Because I've now invested time to data mine all this information up. Now I've cleaned that data mine into pure, highly motivated sellers, and now I got to go through the ones and figure out which one's the most motivated ones, which one's the middle motivated, so I can put them into different follow-up systems, okay? And what I then do is have a VA, because I'll normally have one VA pull that county clerk stuff up. I'll have the other VA only specialize in pulling the skip tracing on the data, the original data that we extracted. It doesn't matter if it's pre-foreclosures or evictions or city citations or whatever the story may be, okay? And then I'll have the third VA, okay, will actually send out the text message. The next VA will be doing the cold calling, and what we're trying to do is, get them to call us. At the same time, have one guy to call outward, because now they've seen our marketing through text messages, maybe a letter, email, Facebook, social media retargeting, etc. Okay, and reaching out to them if they're not reaching out to us. But many of them are now reaching to us, and the same guy that's reaching out to the sellers, right, cold calling, will now stop and pause and take the incoming call, because now he's warmed up, right? He knows how to talk to people. You know how hard it is to, knock on those doors, and now a call is coming to him, so he's going to be highly motivated, right? So now he's going to run the Ninja phone script, and you can get that totally for free at myrealestatedojo.com. Click on start now. Why? Because I'm a giver. Get it totally for free. All right, it's called my Ninja phone script. It's on the stepping stone number 2, part 2. Download that, and then the virtual assistant is going to now run that script. Like, hey, Mr. Seller, this is a beautiful home. Why do you want to sell? What's your situation? Zip it, and then fill this information up, and just, there's a bunch of questions, like all the way down to like, is this an adjustable mortgage? Is this a fixed mortgage? What's the interest rates? All the way down to like, is there any liens on the property, and so on, guys. It would take a whole video just to do that product. Okay, so get it for free. All right, MrNoFluff.com. Now, after that VA runs to that script, okay, there's going to be some that are not motivated. There's some medium motivated, but the ones that I call the cream of the cream, the ones that said, look, I need to sell tomorrow. I'm ready to move. I've already moved out. I don't live there. The house is vacant. I'm tired of making monthly payments on it. Those people can now go to a real closer, okay? Because that VA, after maybe many years of training, then you can train them to become that closer for you. But if you prefer to do it, then you can do it yourself, okay? That's where I would talk to the VAs, to the customers, the sellers at that time, because I liked it myself, okay? Because I wanted to cherry pick the best of the best deals. So at that time, I would talk to the sellers and, listen to their story, go to the script again and see what the true motivation is, and give them an offer and see if they're motivated. And the offer I would give them would be a soft offer. It wouldn't be a hard offer. It wouldn't be in writing immediately, right? See if they accept it. For something like, hey, are you interested in selling your home where I step into your shoes and make the payments month after month? That basically means, hey, I'm gonna take over your payments, basically, right? Subject to it. Or like I would tell them, like, hey, this is how my cash offer works. It's 100% on a dollar times 60 cents, minus repairs. This is what it would be, right? I wouldn't give them an actual number. I would just run to the formula. Would that work for you if I could give you the cash, right? Put this deal and close real quickly. And they'll let you know, no, this is not going to work. This is too little. Okay, well, then the other option is with seller financing, okay? So the point of the story is that instead of me cold calling them, I would have virtual assistants cold call them. And instead of cold calling everyone and their mama, I would have specific people, right, that are highly motivated that I would be targeting. And then I would have already reached out to them multiple ways, what I call 6 for success. That means you got to reach out to them at least 6 times, and you got to reach out to them in 6 different medias, okay, to close the deal, guys, okay? So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button. Don't take no for an answer. Peace, man.